So I was pleased to see an announcement from Jödicke. In 2020, Aaron Carter used my art to promote his clothing without my permission. I took him to court, and I'm happy to announce we came to an agreement after 1.5 years. Aaron paid $12,500 as part of a settlement. Artists, please fight for your rights. If you won't, no one will. This is how it was allegedly illegally used. Aaron Carter posted on Twitter, "Two lions at war can reach an understanding. I have my lion's den, you have yours. AaronCarter.com. Hoodies are back up. All unreceived orders, contact Dawn in my contacts. You can reach me directly." And then there was this response, which was, I felt it was immature. I felt it was a very immature response. Then Jödicke sued Arron in, I think it was August of 2020, got a default, and I think it was headed towards a default judgment, but then suddenly Aaron Carter responded after the default, saying that the default judgment should be only actual damages because the thing wasn't registered in time. The work had been registered in the middle of the dispute after Aaron Carter had used the thing and before the picture was taken down. So there was a question of whether it was one use or continuous use, whether it was actual damages or statutory damages. The default wasn't really going to help much because it would still not solve the problem of whether you use actual damages or statutory damages. There really was no dispute that the picture had been used and it wasn't a fair use, that it was a copyright infringement. The dispute was more over what the damages were going to be. Then the judge undid the default, saying that he wants the parties to resolve things on the merits, and that although there was technically a default, people are now responding, so we should resolve it on the merits. Then it appears before the matter needed to be adjudicated on the merits, the parties reached a settlement. So that was a lot to go through and sort of atypical, but at the same time not uncommon. I see it enough times that it's not rare, but it's not the way these cases should have been handled. The parties really should have been able to settle this out of court. But I think, if I may be so bold, not meaning to insult Aaron Carter too much, I think his initial reaction to his mistake was a bit off and a bit immature. And I've always used the phrase, "eat crow while the crow is young and tender," or "surely you will eat it when it's old and tough." And I think Aaron Carter should have eaten crow when it was young and tender. I think he could have turned it into a better situation. "Oh, look, I screwed up. Ah, ha, ha. I'll pay you some money." Rather than having to hire a lawyer and start fighting. And he made a video that was really cringy about how he could beat Jonas in court. And we covered that on a previous video. I'll post a link to it here. And now he ended up having to resolve it anyway. So why did you go through a year? I think it was 2 years of fighting when it could have been resolved much quicker with mature responses. But I'll leave it at that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm glad to see that got resolved. The amount of money is pretty appropriate for that kind of dispute. What goes into that discussion when us lawyers talk about it in the background? First, it's how much to get the lawyer interested. Lawyers don't usually work for a couple $100. If we're getting this involved in something, most lawyers want at least a couple thousand, probably even more. So I'm guessing that for a year and a half of on again, off again litigation, most of that money is going to the lawyer. That's one of the things driving the amount to settle for, is the lawyer's fees. Aaron Carter's lawyer would be charging him as well. Not Aaron Carter nor anyone else should really be expected to know how to respond in court without a lawyer in a copyright dispute. So it's not something where Aaron Carter or anyone else really would have been able to represent themselves. So the lawyer's pretty much a given in there. The actual damages were probably a couple $100 to a couple $1,000. So if the thing had been resolved early, it probably could have been resolved for less than half of what the settlement was for. It was probably all the time in court that made Jonas want to settle for a higher amount. I doubt Aaron Carter wanted to settle for $12,500. I'm also wondering why it wasn't a confidential settlement. Maybe Jonas and his lawyer didn't want to allow confidentiality so that Jonas could make an announcement. And that will come into the amount of money as well. When one party wants confidentiality and another other party does not, that becomes leverage for negotiations as well. So I think that's an appropriate resolution to the Jonas, Jödicke, Aaron Carter, Two Lions dispute. And I hope that the two never cross paths again. I doubt they think very highly of one another even after the dispute. I don't think we're going to see anything more from Aaron Carter about that. And I doubt Jonas wants to talk about it either. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And that's today's video. Special thanks to our top supporters in July: John Steele, Gavin Barnard, Eevi, Spirit Bear, Benjamin Hitov, Ugly Grill, Rudolph Bescherer Jr., Torpedan, Brandyn Abel, ShadowTycho, RDHDragon, Earthbound Star, and PureMagma. You can support Lawful Masses on patreon.com/ljfrench, sponsors.com/law, through YouTube memberships, and through Floatplane subscriptions. Join me for our weekly live production stream on twitch.tv/lawfulmasses on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern US time. I hope everyone has a great week. I love you all. Bye.